And we are live. What's good, y'all? What's good? What's good? It's your man DL saying welcome, welcome, welcome. I really want to know podcast, bro. Part 2.5. Right. So I did a stream earlier today, man. We were talking about loyalty and the importance of loyalty, man. We're talking about Fresh and Fit and some other things about, men being stand-up guys, being loyal, being, being real. And then I did a DL short. Lauren Chun was talking about some stuff, and I wanted to react to that. And now we here, for the main course, for the interview that I definitely wanted to do. We got brother Damien in the building, man. Can I get what is it? Can I get some podcast?
Yeah, can I get podcast? A thing I used to do back in the day.
Man, that's what's up, bro. Glad to have you here, man. We definitely gonna chop it up. I just wanted to say before we get going, I found this brother online just jumping on the different streams, and it was a Great Pill podcast. Well, shout out to Great Pill. You know what I mean? Because he does bring together some cool folks, man, and have some good conversations. And y'all were talking politics, man, and I hate it when I'm in the chat because it's so hard to keep up with the conversation when you're in the chat.
Yeah, I hate it too. Yeah, you're like, oh, they're on to the next subject.
And then they'll come back to it, and it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. Or they read it. If you super chat it, they read it like an hour later. So we're gonna call this. We're gonna call this the thorough old head hour. This is what we're gonna call it.
For real, is what we need to call it, bro. Because I'm like, man, you just give up. You're just like, all right, give up. If I can't get on the panel, let me just give up on it. But y'all had an excellent conversation, man. Like it was, I was digging it. So I had to have. I like, bro, let's get the brother over here and let's just have an open, frank conversation about everything that's going on from the perspective that most people just don't get to see. We see it all the time, but people just don't get to see two brothers just sitting down, chopping it up. Yo, let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the I Really Want to Know podcast, y'all. Shout out to Shoo for making that intro. You know what I mean? That's my people. That's my people. Y'all need any video work done, y'all better holler at her. Y'all better holler at her. We got brother Cody as King in the building already. Was good. Kendra checking in. He's like, what? Reading comments out of context? No way. Right. Exactly, bro. Exactly, bro. And it is what it is. Because we definitely want to support, each other out here in this YouTube space. And I was just like, oh man. And especially when you see like a topic you really want to talk about, you're sitting there, typos and everything, stuff come out wrong. Like, I don't know.
Exactly. Then you lose credibility because you done misspelled when,
Right. Right.
Like,
you put in you are.
Spell.
Right. Dude can't spell. Look, he's saying you are. The U and the R is like, come on, man. I'm trying to save time. Get off my back, man. Quit judging. Quit judging people. But yeah, man, before we get started, man, why don't you tell everybody, like who you are, a little bit about yourself, bro, for those who don't know you.
Yeah, my name is Damien. Many moons ago, I used to have this thing called Can I Get Some Podcast? If you look on YouTube, I still got about 20 or 30 videos that I did. I might get back into it. Life happens, and I hadn't had a chance to really jump back into it. But I think people have been asking me when I get back to it. And it's coming. It's coming. Before the end, in a year end, you're going to have some new content. It's usually I have a co-host, my girl Shannon, and sometimes I have a co-host, my girl Chastity. We just have a good time talking about politics, relationships, and things like that, popular culture or what have you. And we just sit there and have a good time and just vibe out. But it's definitely coming back. Like DL said, I saw him on. He jumped on Great Pills podcast. And a thorough old head can recognize another thorough old head off the bat, off rip. So I knew this was a cat that I'd be more than happy to jump on and do some collab with. I knew he was a good brother.
Man, I appreciate that, bro, man. Shout out to you, man. I do appreciate that. And yeah, you're right about that. Thorough old heads. And y'all heard like when he was doing, and Can I Get Some Podcast? He got, some fly peoples on there with him. So the man know what he doing. gonna always have a dime off to his left and right. You know what I'm saying? But one of the things that I really wanted to talk to you about, and we'll probably not get into it that much on this stream. We'll save it for the next one, is relationships, because I always get accused of being anti-relationship, and I'm not. And I understand that you're in a relationship, a very successful long-term relationship.
Yeah, I've been married 15 years, been known my wife 20. We've been together 18, I want to say 17, and married 15 years. Yeah,
You know, man. And
been
all I can
a
say to
long
that
time.
is, that's all I can say to that, man. That's what the young kids
Yeah,
understand. Don DeMarco for that, 15 years married, and it works. And then people look at me like, well, saying you just hating on marriage. No, men and women are better together than they are apart. You know what I mean? I preach that. The red pill preaches that. The manosphere preaches that. But you also need to be careful. And we'll save that conversation for another day. But you got to be
yeah,
careful. That's all. And then once you
absolutely.
know what's going on,
Yeah,
you know the situation on the ground, go ahead and do it.
and it's your choice. It's your choice. You don't have to get married. If you get married, it's on you. Just know what you're in
Right.
for.
Like, do it or don't. But at least you know, if it works, great. If it doesn't work, don't come crying to me.
Yep,
Don't be crying to nobody
yep,
else,
yep,
because we told you. We told you. So,
yep.
man, let's just jump right into it, man. There's people out there to say, because I'm about to say some stuff, man. It's like, we're going to talk about black leaders. We're going to talk about the black community. And people say that doesn't exist anymore, bro. You know what I mean? You know, like when you get deep enough into black YouTube, right? You got those who will tell you straight up, like, the black community doesn't exist anymore. What's your take on that?
I mean, the black community definitely exists. Is there a defined struggle that we've been kind of focused all our resources on? No. Be like, back, 40, 50 years ago, there was civil rights, there was, there was all these politically fired up things that we could focus our resources and our activism on. It's just not like that anymore. And people don't have, I just feel like the young don't have the dedication that the older generation have. So yeah, it's definitely a black community. Is it a community that successful as we once were getting things done? That's where it's up for debate.
Right, right. And I mean, it's as if we don't have a mission anymore. Like back, it was always about civil rights. It was always about the financial disparities that the community was facing. It was
Hmm.
always about quality of status,
Yeah.
of housing and stuff like that, like quality of life. We wanted to
Fighting
get a
drug problems. Yeah, something like that.
something like that. But now it's just people just doing their own thing, which brings us to, I guess, the number one topic that I had on my notes here. Do we have black leaders anymore? And if so, who are they, bro?
I mean, it's hard because there's some out there. Like I'm trying to think who, like you don't have to give me a minute to actually think about it. Something's gonna pop in my head, and that's just that. I think that's how most people are. They can like kind of identify a couple of it, but they scrutinize. Like if you start off coming out as you want to be like a central figure in any kind of black centric movement, you're scrutinized to crazy, and they find stuff from your day. You're like, nah, I don't want none of this. I don't want you finding when I grabbed that girl booty back in college, and now I got it's all kinds of stuff that like they can find on you because the internet lives forever, and the social media does as well. So a lot of people aren't willing to step into that spotlight. They're not willing to step in the line of fire. So there's some. If you ask me, I couldn't name them specifically. So you're probably asking, how do I know their son? Because I watch the news. I'm staying in these black circles where people are jumping out. You know, we've had other black leaders that haven't been received as well. But technically, like Kevin Samuels, KS was a black leader.
There you go. There you go. Just keeping it
I
100.
mean, he inspired a lot of movement from a lot of people, male and female. You know, his he wasn't as palatable as some of the other people or whatever, or his focus wasn't something that everybody could get behind, but he moved people, and people are still using the things he's saying as their sounding board for getting a message out. And that's the thing, is the mark of a leader, is if things you say resonate to where people use it as the basis for their own movement.
Facts. And because I'm sitting here, because when I of course when I ask these questions, I'm already having answers or whatever when I write the stuff down.
Yeah.
But when I look at stuff like that, like, well, who are the leaders? I look, people turn to the church. It used to be once upon a time, the community would turn to the church. You would have, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., even Reverend Al Sharpton. People forget the Reverend part. You know what I mean? But you would look at stuff like that. You look at Minister Farrakhan. People would turn to the religious establishment. Where are people turning now? And they're turning to culture. They're turning to like hip hop. They're turning to, like you said, like YouTube. So I look at people like Ice-T, Bun B, right? And then I also look at people like Barack Obama as leaders in the community. You have so many folks out there who are still in the streets, the OGs that are out there trying to school the youngins. Now they're not going to listen to who they consider the lames. They're not going to listen to, the corporate CEO guys, but they will listen to that G.
You gotta have battle scars.
Yes. They've known about this man since they was little kids, and now they're gonna listen to him. Like he come around, he gonna talk. But them G's know the streets is dangerous, and they like Ice-T will tell you, like, bro, don't be in the streets like that. Even though he came up the way he came up, he's like, man, these youngins, man, they wild and they don't know. So
there's no code, there's no honor in anything the cats are doing now. There used to be some kind of understand way to move, no matter what. If you were a stick-up king, if you were whatever, there was always some kind of underlying code that you followed to for the most part. That's out the window now.
No, look at what happened in Nipsey. Like a young G who came up and was doing everything that they tell us we're supposed to do. Keep it in the neighborhood, bring the money to the neighborhood, make the change. Nipsey was becoming very political. He was rubbing elbows with the elite. He was bringing attention to the hood and bringing it to his soil, to his neighborhood. The man bought the strip mall that they used to run him off from when he was on the block hustling or whatever, or just on the blocks 10 toes down. And look what happened to him. And I get politics and all that, but oh my God, this is why it's so hard for our community to really turn it around. You look at people who come through, we can name all of the rappers who've fallen over stuff as silly as a chain or whatever, going to a restaurant, whatever. Like you said, there's no honor in that anymore. That never happened with Bugsy Siegel. You know what I mean? That didn't happen with Bumpy Johnson. Could you imagine somebody coming at Bumpy Johnson like that back in the day?
Because there was a air of mystique with these cats back in the day. It was like you didn't have all this access to them. If you saw them, it was rare, and then you didn't know who was with them, what was going around. But like people will post, "I'm gonna be at this place at this time," or post will floss on social media, and people be like, "Oh, that's on 158 in LaGrange right there. I know exactly where that's at." So people they've lost the air of mystery there, and the air, because that mystery was co-signed by fear. It was like people were like, okay, they have their mysteries. I don't know what they got. I don't know where they went. I don't know what's going to happen if I roll up on them. If you posted you in your house, two dudes, and you got a stack full of cash, they know exactly what to do. What dudes? I mean, so it's like they're really they're the self snitching is crazy. And like I said, I'm not trying to put it on people like the boy at PNB Rock or anything like that. Like his girl tweeted that they were going to. They were just, you should be able to tweet, "Hey, I'm going to the Waffle House," but you kind of got to be self aware of what's going on. It's just crazy.
Yeah, you definitely have to be, man. And then we have these young leaders who keep falling to these they meet this violent end. And it's just like you said, well, who wants to step up now? I mean, when people look at me like, you want to be looked upon as a leader? I'm like, bro, that's hard. Like, I want to take care of those around me, but at the same time, I got to think about my family. Like, bro, I ain't trying to have somebody run up on me like that or be with someone that they think they can get. So, I mean,
it's just like you don't want them in your past. Stuff that we really ain't happy about. We're gonna stay hidden. We're glad we like, woo, got away unscathed. We don't want people digging into that stuff, because then it takes away your credibility.
It's definitely good. I got one of my young knights who's stopping by, young Jack Black. I'm gonna see him Friday anyway when the Templars get together the third Friday of every month. I want y'all to know that, so y'all can show up. That's an open invitation to anybody who want to fellowship with the Templars out here in Tampa. But yeah, brother Jack's like, yo, he gotta go. He just came in, gotta catch this on team replay. I ain't mad at you, bro. You know what I mean? It's good. I'll see you Friday. Be ready to work, man. We got a lot of stuff we gotta cover. And but I mean, you know, so when we hear this, man, I mean, can the hood be saved? I mean, do you see a future, you know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? Do you see the community being decimated completely and just doesn't exist anymore, except for the people who are stuck there? You know, or do you see maybe some sort of renaissance like they had like back in the Harlem Renaissance back in the day?
Man, yeah, that's a real good question. It's a tough question as well because it's like the vast majority of what's coming out of the inner city is either sports or entertainment. There's like you don't see real like the artists like that aren't like music artists. You don't see like the painters or the poets. Like you know, all the poets back in the days came from the hood. You know, you see all the people who are like the authors were coming out of the hood. They were coming out. They were sharing. They were the voice of the struggle and the voice of the situation, voice of the community. And you just don't see that as much anymore. You see everything is hyper focused on the entertainment side of it. It's like you make the most money if you can shoot a basketball or if you can got 16 hop 16. You know, that's what it is. It's just like so it's I think once the focus I think it can be saved because once the focus gets off those fly by night type things and something really significant it can. But how is it happening? I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't see the younger generation coming up with that focus and that determination to make things better.
Right.
I
I
mean, what
mean,
do
it's
you
just too
think?
hard. It's just too hard in the hood. I
Yeah,
mean, it's so easy to go out there and get that fast money, man. Because I have a lot of people who talk to me in different bubbles, not necessarily just like white folks, but just people who come from a different
yeah,
bubble. And the one question they ask me is like, well, why do so many kids get into the drug game? And I always quote Pimp C. If I told you cocaine numbers, you would think I was lying.
yeah,
Like the money
yeah,
is so massive and so
yeah.
fast, right?
I
So
remember yeah. Why would remember what was that gangster from that John Dillinger said, "Why you rob so many banks?" He said, "That's where the money at."
it's where the money at.
You know, that's why exactly. So that's why he did it. He said, you know,
Right. And it's like it's so
regular.
easy to get set up. And you know, I'm gonna do a show on this and we're gonna break it down with the numbers I remember from way back in the day, not even using
Yeah,
today's numbers. But you know, I was talking to a guy and I'm like, bro, with $1,000, with $1,000, and if I was to stay committed, right, and just go hard, within 6 months, that $1,000 could be easily $300,000. And he was like, "It's impossible." I'm like, "No, boy, that's easy." And I'm just, you know, that's me 3 months. It don't even take that long. Like if you breaking it
yeah,
all the way down to work. My only hesitation was like, is I don't want to entice people. But then I thought about like the only people who are gonna do it is the people who are already out there doing it. So I'm like, I ain't enticing nobody.
exactly. They already, yeah. No,
Right. So, but it just the amount of money is crazy. And you know, then people for the tinfoil hat folks out there, you know, I'm like, bro, it is so easy to get into that game. Law enforcement know what you're doing. They don't pick you up early on when they can deter you from doing it. They wait till you
yeah,
get entrenched and then they come for somebody around you so that person could tell on you. And then that whole cycle begins. And you never get out of it. But the
yeah,
reason they do it, like you said, why did Dillinger rob the banks? Because that's where the money's at. Why do these kids hit this hustle? Because the numbers are just so massive. But
yeah.
can the hood be saved? I'm gonna say no today, right now, on this stream tonight, right now. You know what I mean? 10/16/2023, 9:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna say no. Right? Does that mean that there's gonna be a no forever? All I'm saying is right now, I don't see the will of society to want to make a change. It would take a huge push from law enforcement. We would have to change the way we do our judicial system in that zone.
Yeah,
We have to give viable options for young guys other than just and women too, other than just sports. You know, we have a big push on academics. It would take a sizable investment from our government to change the hood.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, black folks are in America only concentrated in a handful of places, like 5 or 6 places. That's pretty much
Yeah.
so they,
Like
you know what I mean?
10
So that way,
exactly.
right.
Yeah, like black people like 10 places. I
Maybe.
feel you, man. And or it would have to take something like an event that's so galvanizing that all black people have to take notice. Like, but we don't have like the Martin Luther King or the Malcolm X's that can get killed, that everybody can like identify with and jump on a bandwagon and in some form or fashion do their part to affect any type of change. We don't have that yet. I mean,
Yeah, we don't.
it would take something monumental like that to galvanize everyone. Like, hold on, let's refocus or what have you. You
Right.
know,
You
because
know,
there's too many
and this isn't
distractions.
too many. And this is no slight to the new Black Panther Party, but we need the old Black Panther Party. You know what I mean? We need the old Nation of Islam. You know what I mean? We need that. It's been too much tarnish. And yes, a lot of that was done by the American government. A lot of that was J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI doing what they were doing. And it was effective. But they weren't just doing it in the black communities. You look at Malcolm X and you look at Dr. King, you look at the Kennedy brothers, right? They were hitting everybody. So and that's something that people don't understand. Like, we don't understand our
Yep.
history to our own detriment. You know what I mean? Level Up Man in the building. What's good, fam? Always a pleasure to see you. I'm glad you're back. He's like, yeah, we need leaders that counter the culture of chasing clout. Ooh, good point, bro.
That's a
Good,
strong point.
because that's a strong point. Because right now, clout is the new currency. You know what I mean? Shout out to Mecca. He says that on Math Hoffa's podcast, My Expert Opinion. Clout is indeed the new currency. So when we got on the spot, we got on the spots in there. I am the single ones in the building. What's good,
What's
sis? Always a
up?
pleasure. Always a pleasure to see you. I've been trying to get her on this platform forever, man. Maybe she'll jump on tonight. We'll see. We'll see. We ain't gonna hold our breath, but we'll see. If we lucky, she'll jump up here with us. And brother, the Level Up Man, it's too easy to sell out for clout, man. And indeed it is. Indeed it is. We got brother JT in the building. What up, though? I see you, man. I see you and them Lions. Y'all doing a little something up there in Detroit. I see a little something. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you, bro. My Bengals at 500. It took us a while to get going. We starting to roll, though. We starting to roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I feel you, man. It's like, and there's not enough scrutiny. So for them, if they do sell out, you what you call it? You may have made money, but you lost your connection to the community if you sold out back in the day. Now it's kind of expected. It's like,
yeah.
I'm surprised there's not Nike don't have a BLM shoe deal. Because that's the way things go.
It was in the works until they, said what they said about Palestine. And it was like, oh, if they had the deal in the works,
exactly.
It's gone now. It's gone now.
Exactly.
And BLM was holding on by a string anyway. Not to, again, when we had these conversations, I'm not trying to knock anyone. Everyone out there who's watching this, I'm not trying to knock anyone. We just got to call strikes and balls, right? Black Lives Matter. That movement, those words are needed, because we look at what was going on in policing. We look at what's going on in our society here in America. And it's a shame, but you do got to say it out loud. Black lives do matter, right? And the fact that people counter with white lives matter, or, this life matter, or that life matter. It's like, y'all know what we're talking about. But again, it's this team versus that team. And then everything gets lost in between. Brother Cody's King is right. Like, Hoover did take over.
Yeah.
Hoover was doing some, and people who don't understand history don't get it. It's the same tactics being used that J. Edgar Hoover, fine-tuned way back then.
He wrote the book on it. Yep.
Wrote the book.
Infiltration, misdirection, misinformation, all that.
All that. We got Miss AK. Hey, ladies in the building. What's good, sis? Always a pleasure to see you. You know what I mean? And so yeah, we definitely gonna drop the link tonight, guys, because I'm curious. Get a little bit. Y'all know I don't drop the link that often, man. I don't be going crazy, but luckily folks come over here and they show so much love, man. So I don't be having the crazy, screaming at each other panels. It's just everybody's
you had a good stuff. Yeah, you had a good segment, man. That's what I'm saying. I always like coming to y'all when I can, because it's always going to be educational. It's going to be informational and educational. You're going to have information, and you're going to be like, all right, you're going to be asking the questions, what can we do to make it better?
And that's a golden,
and that's
a perfect segue. Like what you said about educating is a perfect segue, bro. And go ahead. It's a slight on your microphone. Like your microphone picks up like a slight lag, so that's why I go and then I stop. So I'm getting used to the lag on your mic. So it's cool.
Let me adjust it real quick. Let me adjust it.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go into settings and adjust it real quick. Okay, hold on.
And y'all see we over here playing double dutch. Like I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, okay, wait, okay, get in there. So my brother Damien is adjusting that. We're definitely gonna be dropping a link, guys, tonight. We want to get you guys in on this conversation. And what brother Damien said was a perfect segue into the next point, education. Because we were talking about, can the hood be saved? And I was saying no. And the biggest reason I think the hood can't be saved, and it's not just the hood, this goes for the entire country, is education, or the lack of it in our country, right? There's no emphasis whatsoever on education. What's your take on that, bro?
Yeah, I mean, you hear me good? I'm good now?
Perfect.
Okay, cool. All right. It used to be that was the way that Black people saw to elevate, to rise up out of their station. Historically, like my mom would be like, oh, you got to get good grades, you got to do this. Even if you don't, just kind of push through it and just make it, because that's going to show a couple things. Number one, that you have some degree of intelligence, and that you can stick to something and complete it to completion. So that's what's that shows the world, or what have you. And I'm not saying you got to go get master's degrees and doctorates and all that kind of stuff, but you just got to be able to just complete something that just shows a stick-to-itiveness. But now that's not even the case. It's like they're pushing everything but that. It's like, oh, you need to have, like you said, clout is the new currency. You said it perfectly like that. It's like, you need to have clout, you need to have status, you need how many followers you got. I mean, I always go back to like Chris Rock. He was like, cats in jail, coming out of jail, get more love than cats coming out of college, graduated from college.
That's a fact.
And that's just a shame that it's like that. It shouldn't be like that.
That's a fact. How many times have people come up to you talking about you? I ain't never been to jail. I ain't never been to jail. You ain't supposed to go to jail.
Exactly. You don't, seriously. I mean, it's just weird to me, man. Last place I wanted to do was y'all. I was like, y'all can keep that clout.
Yeah, you can have all that, bro. I'm not trying to get locked down. It's like my brother was saying, man, they see you in there, bro, and they're like, you want to know what it's like to be locked up? Go live in your bathroom for 6 to 8 months. Just live in your bathroom.
Yeah. Seriously. What did he say? Live in your bathroom. I think of what's called live in your closet for 6 to 8 months and have all the people who don't like you on the outside of other side of the door. That's what jail's like.
Ooh, who wants to go through that? But some of us do get caught up, right? And that's part of that, coming up the way we came up. I tell folks all the time, like, man, it was luck. Don't think for a moment I went out there doing stupid shit when I was young. Don't think it for a moment. How could I not?
Yeah.
So man, so
we've all been in a situation. If it had been left instead of right, we wouldn't be sitting here today.
Boy, man, facts. And so, but the reason I brought up the educational part is because, as people know out there, like I'm a huge supporter of Fresh and Fit. Those are my guys, not just on YouTube, but like we're friends in real life. Like we are cool. And people, they take so much heat when they talk about, oh, they just bring on these dumb 304s of these silly women. They handpick these dumb women. And my whole thing is, no, they don't. Fresh and Fit has nothing to do with young Americans being dumb, right? That's all America. That has nothing to do with that podcast. So we got a couple things, you know what I mean? So I want to show you guys something real quick. Let's see. And this is like a real quick clip from Fresh and Fit. And I got one more real quick clip we're gonna play from another podcast, just so you guys can see something. Like, so this is some women who were on Fresh and Fit. And let's just check this out real quick.
We gotta do it. How about this? We'll do 3 countries
in the USA.
Right
outside the USA.
Yeah. Name 3 countries. We'll start right here.
Outside the USA.
Yeah. Well, I would hope so. Yes. Not you can't name the United States. Go ahead. Name 3 countries.
Name 3 countries?
Yeah,
Very
yes.
good.
Can we skip me, please?
Yes,
No.
me too.
No,
Yeah.
just okay. Try your best.
Try my best.
I
You
don't
know,
know.
if there's more than 3 genders, you can name 3 countries.
You got this. You got this.
You got this. Don't worry. You got this.
Panama.
Okay. Countries.
Yeah.
Thinking.
All right. Do we got to go any further? You know, this is something myself. I was like, all right,
No.
y'all saw that, right? Do we got to go any further? Right.
Yeah, but she probably. I'm willing. I haven't seen that clip, but I'm willing to bet she makes 20 grand a month on OnlyFans, something crazy like that.
Oh man,
Some-
more than that.
Some ridiculous. Like,
Yeah. More than that, brother. I'm pretty sure it's more than 20 grand, or she just has somebody taking care of her. Like someone's
Yeah.
paying for her, you know, her condo. Someone's taking her out all the time. Someone's, you know, whatever. And again, I ain't mad at her. I ain't mad. Hey, don't hate the players, hate the game. Right. But she was on this very podcast talking
Yeah.
about there are multiple genders. There are 3 genders. There's this, there's that. You're saying all these talking points, but you can't name 3 countries on planet Earth. Uh-oh. Did we lose you? Oh, we got you. I think we still got you. We lose you, bro?
hold on, I'm still here. Let me switch to a better connection. Hold on.
Okay. Yeah, right. I heard all that. While you doing that, I'll catch up with the chat real quick. And I see his mad love in the chat. And so and yeah, I mean it's easy to sell out for
There we go.
cloud.
There
we go. That's what's up, bro. Yeah, that's perfect right there. We about to really get into it now. I'm just catching up. Yes, please like the video. I appreciate that. And I see his love in the chat. Everybody saying hello to everyone else. I always love to see that. You know, the Level Up Man, BLM was a movement that had good intentions, but the message got lost when it got swept up by politics and clout chasers. Yes.
And money.
And I would add to that. When the money, I would add to that when the 1% decided to go ahead and let the money flow. Because they knew that these young folks who ain't never seen the bread, as soon as that money shows up, it's gonna mess up everything. And it did.
Yeah. Yep.
And it did. Oh, yeah, your stream is absolutely perfect now, bro. Like we 100.
Cool. Okay.
You know what I mean? Brother Cody is King is saying, I think when you segregate the problems, you lose people for the cause. Becomes a accusation and team sports rather than standing on the factual topic. That's a fact, bro. I look at that with my brothers and sisters who are like, you know, the Trumpers out there, they're Team Trump. I sit back and I scratch my head because when you sit them down on their own and you talk to them, it always boils down to, I just like him. It's not about what's best for America. It's not about policy. It's not about, you know, well, he had an administration. It's not about, let's talk about what his administration did. I can name a couple things that the Trump administration did. I'm like, okay, that wasn't bad. But I can name a whole lot of stuff that was really bad. It's never about that. And when people get at me like, well, why are you hating on him? Like, well, because I'm a soldier. I'm an American warrior. And he's a draft dodger who talks shit about John McCain, amongst others, and World War I vets. So
exactly.
No, I got nothing for that, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. If you're in the military and you vote for Trump, you lost. I mean, it's just one of those things. Yeah, like you said, it's just like if you embrace people's ignorance and make them do things and say things and make them feel like they can be intelligent, or you say things in a that's so dumb, I just want to say that they makes them feel smart because they can regurgitate it. You won. They can parrot your talking points.
They can parrot your talking points. Yeah. And Brother Cody is right here. You know, when he was talking about the movement, it was good and all, but he was like the race baiting, and it was used to fund Democrats. I think
it was used to fund Republicans too, because they used to get fun against it. It's been fun politics.
It was used to fund politics here in America.
Exactly.
It fed the entire machine because the Democrats got the money because of the race baiting and all that, and the Republicans got the money the opposite of that because of the race baiting and all that. It was a huge way to raise funds on both sides. Yeah. You know what I mean? And the 1% love that is like, oh, we could get the trailer park money. We can get the hood money now because we got folks out here making these donations. But I agree with you overall, though, Brother Cody. It was just one of those things. And Cody's making fun of it, like, yeah, name 2 more genders. She could probably name 15 genders, but she can't name a couple countries. You know what I mean? And yeah, the picture is 100% now, bro. We cook with fire. So and you guys see, y'all, you know, you saw that real quick with Fresh and Fit. I want to just show one more video Because everyone's always saying, well, you know, they set them girls up, Myron and Fresh, they go after these, you know, dumb girls or whatever to exploit them, to purposely bring them on and, you know, make fun of them or whatever, right? And okay, all right, well, here's a guy that has nothing to do with Fresh and Fit. This is a platform out in California doing what they're doing. This brother is on the campus of Fullerton, it's Cal State Fullerton, talking to college students. Let's check this out.
Hey, we're going to be asking you very simple questions. Are you pretty good with general knowledge questions or no?
I hope so.
Let's find out right now. And there's no reward if you win. Time for the first question. What country is the Panama Canal in?
I have literally no idea.
Oh my God.
What country? Panama. That sounds like Brazil.
Bro. Bro. Quick, anybody in the chat who's got a free minute, look up how much they paying to go to school at Cal State Fullerton right now. In-state and out-of-state tuition. It's got to be somewhere around $20,000 between 13 and 20 grand a year is my guess. I could be off. I don't know. You know what I mean? But we're going to continue. But I just wanted to pause it right there. What's your initial thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. But if you said name 5 Taylor Swift songs, they could name, they be all good. Like,
you're firing it off like a machine
name me
gun.
5 YouTube influencers. They be all good.
Name all the Kardashians. Done.
Yeah, yeah.
Done. Let's get back to it. I just want to just watch just a little bit more.
Is Africa a country?
Africa is a continent.
I don't know.
Panama.
Correct. In Panama. Correct. Hold on now.
Panama?
That's correct.
Panama?
That's correct.
I did a report on the Panama Canal, Mexico.
You stupid. We're going to go ahead and move to the next question. Mexico. This dude's a genius. Now, look, all of these questions, I know the answer.
Bro, did you see that?
She said it with her chest. I did a report on Panama Canal. It's Mexico.
Bro, and it's because of these type videos, and there's so many videos out there, guys. You could just type it in there. Americans can't name countries in YouTube or whatever. It's so many platforms that do this. It got to the point where, you know, I was watching these videos and I turned to my middle school daughter, said, name 3 countries, name 3 states, name 3 cities. Couldn't do it. She could do it now. So, and my whole thing is like, well, what are they learning in school? You know what I mean? And the level up, I knew somebody was going to do it. Cal State Fullerton, $7,000 a year in state, $19,000 out of state annual tuition. See, they spending that bread. That $7,000 ain't terrible. You know what I mean? But
wow,
they spending that bread, bro, and they are learning zero, man. Zero. We got to go just a little bit more, man, because right now it's funny. Go ahead. What you about to say something?
Yeah, because what they're learning, they have stuff like, you know, I'm willing to bet they have like a course on YouTube, like streaming and podcasting and stuff like they have that kind of stuff, but they don't have the basic general ed that we had to take, you know, in order to just get to the next level. It's not there anymore, or it's not a major focus.
It's not a major focus, and you're paying for this. So and when I see young kids today, I tell them, I'm like, man, unless you're going to school for like STEM, you know, one of the sciences or math or what, you know, technology, you're gonna be engineer or doctor or something like that. Like, it's a waste of money. Don't go to it, especially at a big school. You don't go to your local state community college or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's, bro, let's watch just they don't understand that they're wasting the money. That's the thing that gets me. You know what I mean? And like, and I'm single. She's like, I'm excited about this topic, girl. Whew.
Come on up.
We're gonna get it. I'm gonna drop that link in a minute. Let's watch the let's check out the one more clip, you know, of this, a little bit more.
Okay.
Answer to. So I get a badge of honor because I'm an intelligent college grad genius. How many points is a touchdown?
How many points?
I don't watch sports.
7.
Damn, I don't even play sports like that.
6 points. Correct?
6.
Yeah.
If you get it in the fork.
6.
Oh, I have no idea.
1.
What? That's it too. Correct. Yeah.
Oh, I thought that I got that one wrong.
Nah, you got that. What currency does the UK use?
Oh, euros.
She is 2 for 2. Oh my goodness. Euros.
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 Euros is your answer.
Is it wrong? By your face, it's wrong.
Pounds. Pounds.
Pounds. I know that.
There we go. How many terms did Benjamin Franklin serve as president?
Who?
4.
4.
1,
Two.
2. He wasn't president.
Boom. Gotcha.
They know a little bit, but they don't know a lot.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Seriously.
I mean, yeah, bro.
What's the drinking age in Vegas? There you go. Seriously.
They're like, ain't no age, it's Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. You know what I mean? So, but okay, so we look at this, right? We're looking at this lack of education, this lack of investment in education, and it's every bubble too. I don't want people out there to think, well, it's just the people in the hood or it's just the people in the lower middle classes. Yeah. Nah, it's all of them. You know, the 1% kids ain't learning nothing either, even though they're going to Harvard and all that. They're making the networking opportunities happen for them.
Yeah, yeah. That's just an internship for their job they've already been in line to get. You know, it's like your dad met his dad, and he's putting his son in his company, and you're putting his son. Y'all don't have that. There's not that legacy stuff in that stuff available. That y'all, you know, you got to get out there and work and learn something.
I mean, we got kind of a legacy, but it ain't got nothing to do with jobs. It's more to do. I got this connect, bro. I can get you a couple birds. You know what I mean? I'll get you working 50. Right, but you know that kind of help gonna get me 50 years in prison. So it's like a different kind of thing.
I mean, I'm gonna give a shout out to the fraternities and sororities out there. They do a little something. They do a little something to put each other on. I ain't gonna say them because my cousin was in sorority, and I'm sure he probably like pulling his hair out, like, well, you know, like what you call it in a fraternity. So yeah, they do a little something. I ain't gonna totally dismiss that the fraternity he was in do a little something to put people on because he got his job through his frat brother. So, but it's nothing significant. It's nothing that's scalable throughout the whole United States. So
you're right about that. And it's not just college either. Like, you know, I'm a retired air traffic controller. How did I get on? People I met in the military. So yeah, I believe in fraternities and all that as well. You know what I mean? You look at that flag behind me. There's only so many paratroopers out there. Less than 7% of all Americans have served in the United States military. Less than 7%. So that's a fraternal organization of sorts. Right. So yeah. So and I agree with that. We got to be there for each other. The level up, man. He was like, I'll forgive the girl on the TD question. Yeah, I will too, man. I ain't mad at her, but most of them got it. It's America's pastime. It ain't baseball no more. And
thank you so much.
I am a single one is dropping the links in there. Appreciate that. Always working hard. I appreciate you, love. Thank you so much. Men have no excuses for not knowing that football question. He's like, yeah, men have no excuses. And men have no excuses in general, man. That's another thing too. You know, when you talk about the male improvement space out there, people get so mad. It's just like because we're telling men to get better and operate differently. It's like we're by being pro man is being anti-woman, which is not the case. Women want the best men, right? So if we're trying to make men better, the best that they can be, you would think the women would be on board with that. Like, yeah, make them dudes good.
Yeah, and part of being a better man is considering women in a lot of shit. It's just like, so that's what people don't think. They think it's just, okay, it's going to be men. I mean, unfortunately, they think that it's in line with the most, like the feminist movement and the feminist agenda, which is not being equal. It used to be just equal to men, but now it's like some type of, they want to be above men in most cases. From what I'm seeing, men, there's no organizations out there where men is like, we need to be above women consistently. I mean, even the Redfield space there's some pockets of it that kind of push that stuff. But I think what it is just getting it back. I think they're more back to get into traditional roles and what have you. And I'm not red pill. I'm not, but I see it on both sides. I can call what's real.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm with you on that 100%. You know, I've had conversations with women, and I would, you know, and I got this from Myron Gang. Shout out to Myron. I would argue that there is no right or privilege that men have that women do not have. And I would sit there with women like, name one right or privilege that I have as a male that you don't have as a female. And they sit there and they can't do it. I'm like, because I can name some rights and privileges you have as a female that I don't have as a male. And they just kind of like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, reproductive rights. Go right there. Men have zero reproductive rights. Zero, not even close.
Yeah.
Right. And then that conversation always goes down these different roads. But I'm like, at the end of the day, and I'm like, all right, that's fine. We can get into all that other stuff later. But at the end of the day, right, you have a right and privilege as a female in America that a male does not have a right to. And you want more? Like, what more can you possibly get?
But let's keep it funky though. We're gonna keep it funky. I'm all about fair and equitable. Is some of those barriers to some of those rights, the barrier can be men. Men can be the barrier to some of those rights, as far as not like physical rights, but like things of access, just barrier to access. I think that's one of the things that we can prevent women from having access to certain things or certain positions or what have you, because the vast majority of the people who are putting women in those positions are men in most positions, or creating and as well as eliminating those rights, are men. But like I said, it's there. And then just like how it is, but it's no different from being the black and white situation. There's some barriers there too. I was like, you have to know, don't say rights don't exist. Just understand you may have to fight a little bit harder to take advantage or to utilize those rights, but don't say they don't exist. That's the thing I don't get aboard with.
Right. And like, I always use that one example of reproduction rights because I'm like, there's no way around that. It hasn't changed. One day it might.
Yeah, exactly.
One day it might. And I know that's an extreme one. But when you talk about, like, I believe in like affirmative action and set asides, and people like, man, you can't, that's wrong, man. I'm like, nah, bro. If we didn't have affirmative action, if we didn't have these programs, people would still be getting mauled, bro. Like, just real talk. I would not have been given the opportunity to be an air traffic controller for the Federal Aviation Administration were it not for, affirmative action. It would not have happened. And it wasn't me per se, but it was the controllers who came to 2 generations before me, the controllers who fought to get that door kicked in. Right? It is what it is. Now, did it guarantee me the career? No, it simply gave me an opportunity to compete for a slot.
Even the playing field. Even the playing field. That's all everything should be. You like said, but don't get me wrong, if the playing field is evil and you can't rise to the occasion, that's on you. Like I said, the access is all you should be equal to, not the outcome.
Yeah, like and brother, level up, man. I'm not sure what you mean about the mothers and many of society's problems will solve themselves. You might have to come up and let us know what you're saying, bro, like what it is. But
yeah.
I mean, I kind of stay away from those one fixed all things. Like, well, if you just fix this and everything else would be like, in some case, I see where it comes from.
Yeah, things are too nuanced for there's no one pill for every sickness.
Right.
That's a very single motherhood is a very nuanced issue. It's not about women leaving their men or men leaving their women. There's a whole lot of stuff that go along with that. We can talk about mass incarceration of the black man. We could do all kinds of stuff like drug abuse. We could talk about all kinds of stuff. That reason why there's single motherhood.
Yeah, and like in single moms, like when you look at the single motherhood, like I get where you're coming from, brother. I really do. You go back to Johnson, right? You go back to the Johnson administration when they came up with this whole welfare thing, right? It turned out to be something that they didn't want. So many people, we had this conversation like that was designed to break the home and get the black man out the home. I'm like, it wrecked poor people. It didn't just affect the ghetto, it affected the trailer park. It wrecked poor people, got everybody out the house. Men because now we're paying women and incentivizing women to have kids and keep the man away from the kids. When you look at our system, man, when it comes to child support, right? When you look at how they calculate for how much child support should be paid, it's based on how much time you spend with the child or how much time you don't spend with your child. So we're incentivized in this current system to keep a child away from one parent or the other because you're going to get paid for it. And I get where you're coming from, bro. Like, if we fix this issue with single moms, you know what I mean? A lot of these problems will solve themselves. I think a lot of it Making up numbers, 65, maybe 70%, possibly.
But does it, I'll ask you a question. Does that, but on the flip side of that, does that incentivize men to fight harder to stay with their kids? Because like you said, if they spend more time, that's less money. If they say, give me 50-50 custody, does that incentivize them to fight harder?
We're going to see, because Florida just
Okay.
initiated a law. Because this is what they hit you with, generally speaking, in across America in the family court system: the best interest of the child. The judge will always say it's in the best interest of the child to be with who? The mother. It is what it is. Feminists should be incensed that that's the law of the land, right? They should be mad. If it's all about equality, what do you mean the mother is better suited to raise a child, even though the numbers might say something else? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I get it. This is why I'm gonna push back a little bit again on you. It's like because all right, and this I love this. But remember, when a man and woman break up, if they living together, if they cohabitating, the man usually leaves the home, and the kid is usually at the domicile that they grew up in with the mom. So the man usually leaves, finds his own spot, does his own thing, and then he pays into it only because that's where they were. And or if a man and woman ain't together, a lot of times the baby will come home from the hospital to the mama house. They're not coming to a joint domicile where they're equally, okay, how we equally split that. A lot of times the man will bounce out, say, okay, I'm going to get my own apartment, I'm going to pay. And most courts will look at it like, okay, if I give you 50-50 custody, that inhibits a man's ability to generate income, to make money. Like, for example, they say, okay, men are the people who, like, just to go, and I heard this on, I think, a Fresh&Fit comments, like, men work longer hours, they take harder jobs, they ask for raises, they spend more time dedicated to generating income for themselves and their family. If they had a child 50% of the time, would that affect that negatively? Would they say, okay, I can't work the 50 hours because I got to go pick up my kid, or I got to be with my kid, I only can work 32 hours. So now I'm not making as much money. That's why they generally, that was historically why they did it, because men want to get out and work.
Okay. And I'm cool with that now. Time for me to fire back. You know what I mean? So,
okay.
And this is, and again, I just want the young guys out there and all the people out here watching right now, watching Team Replay later. Do you see how this course is supposed to go? Two brothers sitting here having a conversation. This is how it's supposed to go. This is how it used to go forever and ever until recently. But now it's time for me to it's time for me to fire back. I agree with you. When you go back to the period in which women weren't out making their own money, you're absolutely correct. And you would, and generally speaking, we would be talking about of a couple who were married, and they had children or whatever, had a child, had children. The man was the majority breadwinner. If something went wrong and they had a divorce, that he would keep the home for his child and his ex-wife, go out and work and still support his family, because he's still supporting his kid and making that. I agree with you 100%. But the game has changed. Women are making their own money, and lots of it. There are guys who go through this process, right? Because again, we've monetized children. So to the point where it's broken down by percentage. You got 15%, 20, 25%, right? It's rare to get 50% in today's court, which is crazy. And mom is out working. She has the baby, she comes home, and then she's like, okay, I'm going back to work. Her maternity leave is over, she has it. So the baby is where? Daycare. And then, right? And there are guys out there who are like, okay, the judge is going to order you to pay child support based on you not seeing your child. So you got the child, I don't know, 15, 20%. Then the judge is going to make you pay half of daycare. Even if the guy works midnight shifts and can watch the baby. Well, I can watch the baby. We don't have to pay for daycare. I can keep the baby. Judge says no. That's the world we're in. Why? Because there's a financial incentive to get that money from that man or that woman. It goes both ways. And there's another thing that I stress over here. The family court system doesn't care about your gender. They only want to know who makes the money and who's been with the child prior to y'all winding up in front of that judge. That's all they want to know. And they give you every opportunity to work out. It's like y'all can work out a situation, bring it to the judge will sign it in his law. But if y'all can't work together, the judge is going to decide. Right. Yeah. And then the final point I want to make, we're going to find out how that works out, because here in Florida, it is now Florida's opinion is the best interest of the child is served by being with both parents equally. In other words, now when you go to family court, it's 50-50 split. There's nothing to talk about. It's a 50-50 split.
And I think that's the way it should be. I think they should do that. I think that's why, because the law is so antiquated for a way that was years ago and it hasn't been changed. And of course, in these cases, usually women are the most vocal for change. Men, we outwork it. So we don't fight as hard in family court as women do. That's just a fact. We just don't. But now we're starting to step up. And I think, but it's not, I don't think we're stepping up enough to change the laws to where is that. I think that is a great way to go, like Florida do. That needs to be the standard in family court. And I think if a lot of more men step up and do the work, because women ain't going to do it, because they get, like you said, they're not going to change anything. If men would step up to change those laws, then I think it would work out better in the long run.
Yeah, the feminists of America should be leading the charge. The feminists should be down here celebrating in Florida. They should be celebrating in Tennessee, where Tennessee is this close to mandating DNA tests for all unmarried couples who go before the family court system. DNA test. Hey, Dad, we're going to do a test. Oh, you're not the father. They've been fighting for this for years. It's this close. Where are the feminists? The feminists should be out there fighting, because that's true equality, isn't it? Don't you want the kids to have equal access to both parents? Isn't that equality? Aren't men and women the same? Yeah, I know I sound like I'm talking crazy over here, but I get so frustrated with a lot of it. And again, I'm not hating the players. I get why they don't fight for it. Because you could be a raging purple-haired feminist, but in the back of your mind, hey, if I slip up, get me a baby, I'm going to win in the court system. So I don't want to change that. I don't think as a man I would want to change it if I benefited from it. I don't think I would want to change it either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, one thing I remember Trump said, he was like, the reason I don't pay my taxes is because the laws let me not pay my taxes. So he ain't going to change. Why? There's no incentive to change it.
Facts. And I'm not going to be mad at him. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I want some of them tax loopholes my daggone self. So, but that's my point. So you got Tennessee, you got Texas. Texas is doing away with no fault divorce, right? So there's a lot of people mad about that. You got again, the feminists are coming out fighting that. It's like, well, they don't want women to be able to get out of the relationship. Like, nah, it's just you're gonna have to come up with a reason. You're gonna have to prove that you need to get out of this divorce. They're doing away with no fault divorce. I didn't know that was Ronald Reagan that initiated that whole irreconcilable differences, no fault divorce thing. I had no idea that was Reagan. I'm like, the biggest Republican at the time did that. Like, wow.
Yeah, the standard bearer, the Republican godfather.
Man, I couldn't bedtime for Bonzo guy. He did that. I couldn't believe it. You know what I mean? But they're trying to undo it. And you're right. Slowly, it's gonna filter through all 50 states, and we're gonna see a change, because men are being penalized. And I think that Level Up Man has something in here which is absolutely right. He's like, men are penalized for working on child support cases. If they go to work, they don't spend as much time with the kid and pay more. They don't work, they can't make money, they don't get custody. It is like, it's a catch-22 for real. But again, Florida, we're gonna see how this pans out, because Florida has made it law. It is enshrined law in the state of Florida. You go into child support, you go into a family court situation, it's 50-50 custody. That is in the best interest of the child, which I believe it is. I believe that a child should have equal access to both parents. What's your take on that, brother?
I mean, I do, but we got to consider the situation of the parent. Like I got one of my older brothers. I love him dearly, but he was in no way any kind of way to take care of any kid full time. It wasn't happening with him. He got 6 kids, 5 baby mamas. So it's just like there was no way he could any place he could take care of any kids, anything like that. So I think as long as it's a situation where there's a degree of symmetry between the two households where people, they don't got to be making the exact same money, but they got to be working. They got to have, a safe environment for the kid. They got to have access to, medical care or, to be able to just maintain the standard, a certain standard of safety for the child. Then I think it's all good. But like I said, if you're a man and you're wealthy and you go and you impregnate a stripper or a cocktail waitress or something like that, you should be okay. I'm in a better situation to take care of it. I need to get my kid, and then she needs to get herself level up, and then we can kind of do the 50-50 and vice versa. If you a woman who's an executive or whatever, and then you get with a dude who's a personal trainer, no shout out, no diss against personal trainers, but I know they just don't make a lot of money. Then you got to give it to the woman, and then this dude kind of level up. I was like, but like I said, if there's some symmetry there, I'm all for 50-50 right on.
Yeah, and the laws are structured to make money for sure, to keep the money flowing for sure. Like there are fees and stuff that have to be paid. It's a multi-billion-dollar.
You have to pay through the state. Because I remember Gilbert Arenas was talking about how he gave Laura Govan, his baby mama, he would just write her checks and just give her cash. And then they went and said, you delinquent on child support. He's like, no. Here's this canceled check. I just gave her for $15,000. He was like, didn't go through the state, so it don't matter. Didn't go through the system, so it don't matter. And that's where brothers need to educate them. Men need to educate themselves. You could be like, oh man, I give her money when she needed. I buy if it don't go to the state, didn't happen.
And that's insane. And it's going to change. I mean, we're watching the process slowly occur now. The changes are coming. In many states, 50-50 custody is not standard. Laws are based on who has possession of the kid at the time of the filing. It's the 50-50 thing. Again, I'm not a big fan of Ron DeSantis, but he got that right. You know what I mean? Like I can point to 2 things that he did right in Florida. 2.5, 3. He did forever alimony is a thing of the past. He did that. And this 50-50 thing, I think that's great. And he handled Hurricane Ian, the approaching hurricane, well. After the hurricane hit, though, that's a different matter. So I give him 0.5 on that. You know what I mean? So I can think of 2.5 things he did. He did right. But I mean, but you're right. Level up, man. You're absolutely right, man. Paternity test should be mandatory for all births as a matter of course. Outside of wedlock, 100%. And I think that all men should get even with wedlock, because you had this divorce or whatever. I think every man should get the opportunity to at one shot. Like, okay, you can if you want to get you can get the mandatory DNA test done now. If he waives it, that's on
waive
him.
it. That's what I'm saying. He should be able to waive it if he wants to.
If he wants to waive it, he can. But if he does waive it, man, don't come back talking about these ain't my kids. Sorry, bro. We gave you an opportunity and you forfeited that opportunity. Pinky and pinups. What's good? Welcome. I don't think I've ever.
She be on Grey Pill a lot. She's on Grey Pill.
That's Pinky. Oh, what's up, sis? I've been on panels with you then. Yeah. What's good? I'm glad you're here, love. Feel free to jump up if you want to jump in on this conversation. Ladies, if y'all want to jump in, because there's always dudes talking, they be like, hey, DL, you only had dudes on your platform. I mean, like, bro, it's not a male-only daggone.
Panels open.
Yeah, the link is down there. It's pinned to the top. Feel free to jump up here and jump in this conversation. And yes, and Level Up Man is absolutely right. The family court laws are 50 years behind the times. Absolutely. And we're starting to see that these things are starting to change. And it's we have to put what's best for the child out there. We have to look at the stats. We have to look at the things that we know. Like you said, you get some guy out there who is, you look at Brittany Renner and the PJ Washington situation.
Yeah.
Right. So what is she? She's a YouTuber. She's very famous. She's doing well. She's making money, but you probably the vast majority of her income is coming via the court system in this child support situation because she has the baby of a multimillionaire basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
It should be 50-50 off rip. And actually, if she can't afford to take care of the child, like, well, I don't really have, the money to pay for the education, or I have the money to pay for medical expenses, then it's like, all right, well, we're going to leave him with dad and give you an opportunity to go out there and get yourself together. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. But the question is, are men really fighting that hard? If you are a person who's saying, okay, I had this baby with this woman I'm not feeling anymore, I can, if you're a man of means, it's like I just throw a little bit of change, the baby will be well taken care. I can come see it when I want. Are dudes kind of taking that route? Are they really fighting as hard as the women are? Are like I said, there's more, like you said, there's more incentivizing for women to do it, but are men fighting as hard as they should be for their kids? That's the question that always comes up. It's like, well, women are fighting harder for this stuff. That's why the laws haven't changed.
I would say men are fighting. Well, there's two parts to that. I would say the men are indeed fighting extremely hard. It's just they're being hit with, when they come to fight, not only do they got to pay for their lawyer, they got to pay for the other attorney, right? They're paying for two attorneys that's being drug out, right? The system seems to benefit. I mean, it is what judges tend to rule the same way. So it's not as if you're walking in there with an opportunity to get 50% custody of your child.
Yeah.
You're not. You're walking in there knowing like the best you're probably going to get is 30, 35% up front, if you can get that. Right. And then family court, all the old school attorneys, they call it liar's court. So you go in here, you hear all this stuff, you walk in there and they're making this accusation and that accusation, and you sitting there, they're prepared. So I wouldn't say that men aren't fighting as hard as women. It's just the battle is uphill for all men, and women is pretty much on cruise control. That would be my argument to that. Now, I'm not speaking on every single case, but I would say the majority of the time, you're a human in a swimming match with a fish. Is the fish swimming hard? Yeah, but it ain't got to swim as hard as you, does it? You know what I mean? To beat you. You know what I mean? That's my argument there. You know what I mean? And Level Up, he's with you. He's like 100%. He agrees with you, Brother Damien. It should be like that, but reality doesn't work that way. Facts. It is what it is. And again, that's the game. You get caught up. Hey, man, that's what you did. Like your brother. You tell your brother, man, I got a doctor down here, and they do that snip, snip, snip real good, man. In and out.
Man, old
20
school.
minutes. I see.
He gonna pull an Al Pacino and have a baby at 80.
Hey, shooting up the club. I ain't mad at it. And it's on the spot. It's like, no, there are not.
You talking about?
And I think that's
hard
for the
men,
men not fighting. Yeah, see, we already talked about the lag. Like, wait, no, they're not. What?
Mm-hmm.
But no, yes, they are, love. I would argue that men are fighting hard. The family courts are full, and they're in there fighting extremely hard. They're losing tons of money. They only give up the fight when A, they run out of money, or B, they're dealing with a situation with a person on the other side who is lying, and they can't prove that they didn't do these things that people accuse you of. There are people out there who are just so vindictive and just so hateful that you can't compete with. I mean, people who are willing to call the police and make up stories, people who get, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah, there was that. Wasn't that rapper who got caught up? This woman said that he did something to her kid. It was some rapper that recently got that, and it was found out it was wrong, and I think she's going to jail for it.
I'm surprised she's going to jail. I've seen cases of just regular folks. This one dude was in law enforcement. Same thing happened. He's got the kids, he's got custody, and then the kids come home, and mom done got the kids to say that dad done did this and dad done did. No, it was an infant. Mom done said dad done did this and dad did that, and law enforcement show up to arrest this man. He a sheriff, and the local boys show up, and there was nothing they could do because she went through the process or whatever. Now there's a restraining order. You know what I mean? Now he's fighting a felony, right? He's suspended from working, pending. We got to see if it's an investigation on that. And when it all comes out, and it was all a lie. The baseball player recently who lost all that money trying to clear his name because some woman said that he
that was some cold. Yeah, I saw that. What was his name? Some Brewer or something like that. Brewer.
Yeah. Think if there was a child involved. Think what she would have said and done. Right. That cost him at least $30 million just to clear his name. He lost his slot on the Dodgers, bro. Had to go over to Japan and play. And now he's trying to get back on board and get back in the major leagues.
Lost endorsements and all kinds of stuff.
all kind of stuff, man. And then she's like, oh, well, you trying to make me look bad. These are your text messages saying you setting this man up. Like, how's that making? I'm
get
trying
his
to
money.
make you look bad.
I remember I saw that. We're like, what should I get to take from him? It's like, take his money.
Take his money. And it's all said and done. And the LA prosecutor's office is not going to seek charges against this woman. She filed false police reports. She committed perjury. She lied in court. I hear attorneys, broke legal, ethical things going on, but it was all in that fake court. That's another thing I think they need to do.
But he didn't sue though. He said, I just wanted it over. And that's where I think he did wrong, because it sets a bad tone for men to just be like, because a lot of men, we just want it to be done and over with. He should be like, no, I got the money and she needs to pay me a lot.
He sued her for defamation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he sued her for defamation, and then she countersued. Right, so he spent all that money on the case,
and then he let it go. but then he dropped the suit
because the other team came. Her team came and was like, "If you drop the case, we won't ask." So they had all this stuff. It never went before judges. All his time, all his money spent, because he had to pay his attorneys. She had to pay her attorneys. He agreed to drop the case. And it was a civil thing, and they both agreed to drop their cases, and no one would seek any more damages or whatever, because his attorneys were telling him, like, bro, you're not going to be able to win this. And if you do win, she's not going to pay you a dime. And while all this was going on, I didn't know this, but apparently she got $300,000 out of her insurance company.
I didn't even know that. Wow.
$300,000. I don't know what kind of policy she had, but maybe that was something she had in her policy. $300,000 were paid out. So she still got something, which paid for those attorneys she had. And he basically spent all his money and was able to clear his name a little bit, right? Because the media was all over him when the accusations came out. He was accused of doing this, but on the back end of that story, it was like hush. It was hard to find. It's buried on the back page. You got to go try to find what's going on. And then the way they wrote it up, well, they settled. They didn't settle. They both dropped their suits. He sued her for defamation. She countersued him, and they both dropped their suits. After he done spent about $15 million.
Yeah,
it's insane. And I Am the Single One. She's like, they just don't want to pay the woman. It's not that they want full custody of their children necessarily. I think that's a big fallacy right there, love. I think that's a big fallacy. And again, we were talking about rights and privileges that men have that women don't have, right? In America, we cannot force a woman to be a mom. Like, we can't do it. A woman can have a child, and then a couple months later, like, you know what, this is too much for me. Take that child, just drop it off at the fire department, drop it off at the police department, walk away. Right? No problem. A guy can't do that. Right? A guy can't do that. You know what I mean? So, when I hear that narrative, it's like, nah, there are men out there that want to raise their child. I'm a single dad, and my daughter right now, she's supposed to be in bed, but she wanted to put together this desk that she done had. She hadn't made it. Had this desk she wanted, and I kept the desk in the box outside in the living room. And like, you gotta get your grades up. You want this desk in your room, right? And she finally got her grades up, so now she's back there putting the desk together. I love being a father. Being a father is amazing. There are a lot of men out there who love it. There are men, they want to be dads.
Me too.
You know what I mean? They want to be dads, but to have to fight, and then if a guy doesn't fight and give up everything he has just to get 30% custody of a child he could barely see, right? And then it's like, oh, he's a deadbeat. Nah, I will argue the person who's keeping that child away from his father is the deadbeat, when there's no reason to keep that child away from that father.
That is 100% true. And there's a lot of women who use it as to get back at a man because the man don't want to be with them.
End of the day. And again, feminists should be out there fighting for men to have the same rights and privileges that women do. And what I mean by that, he should be able to walk away. Like Kevin Samuels was saying, there should be an option for a man to opt out. He just signed his paperwork. You know what I mean? Because they don't like that term, the A word.
I agree with that.
YouTube. There should be that option.
My wife and I was talking about that. She agrees with that point too. She was like,
what?
okay.
I gotta get you kicked out the house, bro. Saying some stuff like
that. No. She totally agrees with that too. She was like, I don't understand why men are forced to be fathers if they're not, because they're not going to, hopefully in most cases, they won't be good ones.
Yeah. They want to be good ones, especially if it's a little girl. I have to be with my daughter.
Yeah.
I have to be. There was no way that I was not going to be in my daughter's life because it's what Chris Rock say. It's my job to keep her off the pole.
Off the pole.
It's my job to let her know she's loved. My daughter don't run around here starve for attention from these little boys out here. Did she get all the attention? You ask my daughter right now, who loves you? Say it like that. Who loves you? She'll say Papa. Because that's what I say to her every day. Every day I take her to school. Who loves you? She's like, you. You know what I mean? I make her smile. If I don't say it, if I'm tired or whatever, and I forget to say it, she'll sit in the car until I say it.
Yeah.
Like, you forgetting something? Oh, yeah. Who loves you? You. And she go and start her day. Right? So women need that. Young girls need that. They need to know that there's a man in her life that she can go to and talk to. Papa gonna give me the game. We sit down, I talk, hey, this is how it is. This is what these little boys gonna say. Now, if you fall for the game, that's on you. I done told you now. Yeah, you gonna come home crying on this show. You're gonna come crying on this show. I'm like, they're there. They're there. 22 years old. Oh, yeah. Oh, he told you gonna give you the world, huh? Told you he's an astronaut, did he? Astronaut, huh? Yeah.
Yep. Seriously, me and you against the world.
You against the world. Oh, he was Clyde and you was Bonnie, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
He got what he wanted. Where he at now? Oh, he ghost you?
Exactly.
Oh, you want me to go beat him up? Nah.
Now he ain't ready.
Now he ain't ready.
He's like, oh, I ain't ready for that. I'm not mature enough.
I'm not mature enough. So now look at you. Don't be mad at me. Papa done gave you the game now. Don't be mad at me. You know what I mean? And Brother Level Up is saying, yep. He's like, I tell you, Damon, I had to spend $10,000 to an attorney so that I can get 50-50 custody. Yeah, now you got off easy, my brother. You know, I had to spend that $10K to fight. Most men don't. They have no choice. So they have no. So they don't. A lot of dudes don't have the bread. I'm telling you, Florida is gonna start it.
That's true, and that's something else needs to change.
We monetize children in this country, and I think that's the most horrific thing that America stands on. The most horrific thing. I think we done struck a nerve. There she is, y'all, in the flesh. I am the single ones in the building. What's good, love?
Hi, Tia. Hi, Damien.
How you doing, baby?
Great. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear.
Awesome. Great topic tonight. I wanted to jump in. Shout out to all the dads. And shout out to the daughter dads. As a daughter who loves her dad. Oh my God, I love my dad so much. I always share this with men because they almost never think about it like this. It's very important how you treat your daughter. What you mentioned was awesome. You tell her that she's beautiful, that you love her, but your attention and affection doesn't necessarily, it will never compete with having affection and attention from her peers or counterparts, right? And this is one thing that men often miss. So as a daughter, as a woman, let me tell you this. She's also observing how you treat your counterparts. And that is how she's learning about romantic relationships, romantic norms, what is common, what is acceptable. She's looking at how you treat either her mother or whoever you're married to or dealing with, etc. And men tend to hyper focus on how they treat their daughters, but she's learning, she's listening to the things that you say about women, your attitudes about women and relationships. So I always want to just say to my dads out there, keep that in mind as well. And I mean, if she's of age, you know, open up, talk to her about it, you know, whatever. But yeah.
No, that's an excellent point, sis. That's an excellent point. And go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is spot on. You got to set that baseline. You got to set a baseline on how you think women should be treated, because by showing that as an example, you know, doing things like that. Like I said, me and my daughter, we go on a date once a month. We go and I treat it like a date. I don't do the whole flowers to the door stuff, but you know, I go out, I open her car door, we go to someplace nice, we have good conversation. She needs to know those interactions with men need to be different, and they need to be less about surface level stuff and like to really get to know you stuff. You need to be able, those conversations need to be comfortable and consistent and normalized for your daughter. I get that. I'm 100%. But like you said too, DL, she's not gonna be out there game goofy because me and my brothers are telling her all the stuff we used to do. You know, so she know what to expect. So I think that is a spot on point. Normalizing those conversations, those interactions, so you can set a baseline of how her expectations should be when it comes to dealing with a man. And the best way, like you said, is to show how you deal with the women in my life, like how I treat her mom. Hopefully she said, okay, that's the way a man's supposed to treat the woman he's with.
Exactly.
The point.
That's a great point. And we have to do it in stages. My daughter's still kind of young. I mean, she's very tall for her age. Like women, young girls normally mature more, and my daughter's very tall, and what I mean, and all that. Like when I see her, like that's my baby, but I'm like, she grown up, right? I mean, her body's just grown up, just her mentality is catching up. So we're taking our time when it comes to that, but it's all a planning. You're 100%. I am the single one, 100% correct. I see. Here's my thing with my daughter. I protect her from the outside. I don't bring any old body around my child, right? So that's one of the things. And I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, man, one of these, I'm gonna have to figure something out so she can see that interaction. And that's the thing with having split households. That is a really tough one, and that's one I'm still working on figuring out. Brother Mandrell's in the building. What's good? My favorite snake eater in the building. I'm pretty sure he'll jump on here. And Level Up Man has a good point here, man. He was like, the laws are so messed up. I had to sue my baby mom because she didn't want me paying child support. I forced myself into child support because I wanted to be there for my child. Had to sue for that. And there's sometimes like you dealing with other people where you have to do these things. You have to put yourself on papers. You have to get the government involved because people use their kids. Men and women do this. But since women get custody most of the time, people use their kids, as leverage, and it sucks. I am the single one. I'm curious. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, what also happens is that women, they'll say, I can, I make this, I make that, I can do it on my own, when a man doesn't want to be involved. And so she might do that for many years or a few years and realize how hard it is, or become burnt out or overwhelmed. And then she's filing later. That happens too. So a lot of men are like, oh, fantastic. She's not, putting me on child support, and, you come and go as you please. And you might throw $20 here. Like that's going to do anything for a child. And then you're like, oh my gosh, the child is 8 and now she wants, child support. It must be some vindictive, bitter, scorn thing. But no, it's hard. It's tough. It's difficult for a single parent, man or woman, to take care of a child all their own.
That is a fact. We got Brother Mandrell who has joined the panel.
What's up,
man, good
Mandrell?
to see you.
Hi, Mandrell.
Hey, everyone.
What's good? And before we let you cook, bro, the Level Up Man was saying, agree with I am the single one. I always make it a point to be civil with my daughter's mom. That is very important, guys. And watch how I interact with others, because I know my daughter is watching. All the kids are watching. Kids are, man, they truly are sponges, and that's something we have to remember. Brother Mandrell, what say you, fam?
About what part?
Because you jumped up off, we could definitely talk about leadership. I know you jumped up here for a reason. And I wanted to hear exactly what you have to say, in particular right now about this whole, do you think that men are out there fighting enough for their children? Should they have to fight for their children? Do you believe in the 50-50 custody split?
They shouldn't have to fight for their children. They shouldn't have to fight for that. That shouldn't be a fight. You know what I mean? We all know the kids need both parents in their lives, period. No question about that. So it shouldn't be a fight. Now, if it's a case of abuse or safety for the child, that's understandable. I get it. You might have to go through jump through some hoops if there's that going on. If the guy's creating an unhealthy, toxic environment for the child. So there's that. But other than that, no, you shouldn't be a fight. I don't understand. A lot of women use those kids as leverage against the dude. And that's the problem. There's no punishment for that. You had a guy who was on child support, paying child support for a child, and he never had sex with the woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's how in favor the system is for women when it comes to this nonsense. And then when they found out, no, nothing. Nothing. They found out that he wasn't the father. Through DNA evidence, they still made him pay child support.
Yeah.
For the bulk of the rest of the year, until it was ridiculous. He didn't get any of that money back. The woman doesn't go to jail for lying and putting his name on a birth certificate. without his consent. She did it, which is fraud at the minimum.
It's felony fraud because that's a lot of money, man. And it happens. Again, that's a terrible game. Level Up is jumping on his airplane. That brother's in Miami. He's on his way back home in New Orleans. He's like, he got to jump on he's got to bounce shortly, man. He's like, great pod. I'll catch you next time. Bro, we going to get you on here. We're going to talk some football. This brother right here, the Level Up, man, we were talking football. I was like, bro, is this Joel Klatt? Like, this dude know his football. So we're going to get you on here, brother. We going to get you on here, brother. And thanks for hanging out, man. I really appreciate you, man. It's a pleasure meeting you. So okay, is
I have a quick pushback though.
No, go right ahead. Go right ahead.
And I'll let you ask your question. But I just want to push back on this. As a woman, I do not feel incentivized to have a child for some like welfare or some kind of advantage or like awesome thing that I want to participate in. And I think that's true for most women. And I just wanted to push back on that because I heard it earlier and I've heard other people say it. Even child support. That's still, you still have to be a mother, which is,
I am a single one. Here's the thing. Little girls are being taught that these days. There's a little girl on video.
I hear men say, honestly.
Yeah, listen, because it's caught up. Here's the thing. It's because men are calling it out. That's why you see men talking about it. But there's a video of a little girl. And here's the thing. I was skeptical at first. I'm a cynic. I am. I don't believe shit until shit happens. You know what I'm saying?
You are.
Right. So it's like, and nothing surprises me. I'm like, yeah, I've seen it all, done it all. I mean, how's that going to surprise me? What's that? But this one, I was like, wow. This little girl says that, okay, she was going to, grow up and be a mother and have a kid and everything like that. So the teacher said, yeah, but, the little girl somehow she's going to do this and do that. She said, yeah, but okay, you should depend on some of that stuff. You should depend on your husband to do. She said, oh no, I'm not getting married. Little girl now, elementary school, 5th grade. Wait, you're going to have a child and not be married? She said, no. Why would you want to get married and have a husband to help you raise your child? She said, because then I can't get child support. 5th grade.
Yeah, I think a 5th grader doesn't quite grasp what's happening.
Yeah, she's being taught. Here's the thing, people. Stop it. That kid's being taught that. She picked it up from somewhere.
She might just know exactly. Like she hasn't put all the pieces together.
She hasn't because no one's teaching. No one's showing her those pieces. And I agree. Kids go by what they observe. You're right. Kids do. And I agree with you when you said kids are very observant. They're observing what's going on. I agree with that. That's what the kids observing. No one's correcting the behavior nor the ideology. So that kid's going to grow up with that ideology and push back on people who tell her that's not the way to go. Because at 5th grade, she believes this at such a young age. And if she grows up without anyone that she respects correcting her, she's going to continue that ideology and think she's right. And that's the big problem. People think that they're right.
And you know what I'm saying? And for the panel, I just want to put that out here because we started this conversation about talking about leadership and talking about black leaders in particular. And I am the single one. I'll let you.
What black leaders?
Exactly. So I'm gonna let I am the single one go first, and then we're gonna drop it to Mandrill. What are your thoughts on that? Like, shouldn't we have if the world were perfect, shouldn't we be in a society where you're in a school and you hear that come from a 5th grader?
Mm-hmm.
And shouldn't our leadership be such that we want to go ahead and correct her right away to prepare her for the world that we're in? What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, the 5th grader thing is throwing me off. I just don't. I think that's still a child who's probably just repeating something that she heard somewhere, but she isn't like making decisions about her life at that point. Like, oh, I'm definitely I don't think kids literally repeat things literally like a parrot. They'll just say it. So that's my thought on that.
All right. And Brother Mandrill, you say we ain't got no leaders anymore. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, there are no leaders. Name the leaders. Name the black leaders.
Mandrill 211. Brother Damien.
No one knows me, and no one knows Damien.
All right. I said it earlier.
No one knows DLC. And no one cares what me and Damien has to say.
I'll give you this one then.
I've seen people be flat out wrong.
He went from cynical to super cynical.
Damien is on a panel and I've seen Damien be correct, like giving them the correct answer over and over and over again, and they will fight him tooth and nail. I'm like, I'm sitting there fight Damien tooth and nail. I'm like, I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, how? Like, how do you disagree? I don't understand. It doesn't compute how you disagree with what he's saying.
But I think people also, you said earlier,
You know what I'm saying, Damien? It's just like
DL said earlier in the stream, though, that
it
that
happens
he
often.
doesn't think that things can change or be changed. I personally, where I live, I see men stepping up to make changes in their community who have a sense of ownership and responsibility when it comes to their community. But I don't think that's happening at a larger scale. And I think
The
that
thing
starts
is,
with, if
I'm
it's
sorry.
like we can't change anything. Go ahead. Sorry, Damien.
No, I'm sorry. That interrupted you. My bad. But like I said, when we were talking about that, it was like, it's hard to do it because a lot of people don't want to put their life under that much scrutiny. Like when I was back in Oakland, I used to be a part of this organization called 100 Black Men. We used to go to schools. We would talk to kids about fill out job application, college prospects, how to tie a tie, just simple stuff like that. Things that the cats that didn't have fathers, and we give them some game on like things they can do to just kind of just make a more positive impact in the community and just in their lives in general. I'm now that I'm in Texas, I haven't found an organization that I vibe with enough to do that. But the thing is it's like, I don't know if with all the scrutiny out there that there's some stuff in my past I'm not proud of that, that if people dig it up and be like, oh my God, would I be scrutinizing? And then would they disavow the good that I could potentially do because of something I did when I was 18, 19 years old?
Very
that's
valid.
the thing.
In the age of social media, leaders have to think about that.
So it's nobody wants to step in that line of fire.
Yes,
here's the thing. I would, but you got to do what I say, and that's a problem. Listen, I'm gonna give you the answers. You got to do the work. You're not gonna do the work. Don't bother. Go away. I have no use for you. You're a bum, a loser.
I would say this. Right. I would say this. All leadership, just like politics, is local. It all starts locally.
Yeah.
Right. When we talk about leadership, right? For me, when I was coming up, the people who had the biggest impact on my life from grade 5 through grade 12 were the teachers, in particular the gym teachers, the male teachers, the coaches, right? And then I had my counselors. Rebecca C. Webb. You know what I mean? I give myself let me put myself on the big camera, big picture right here real quick so I can get this. Rebecca C. Webb was this beautiful Puerto Rican woman who came into Cincinnati, Ohio from somewhere up north. She had that Northeast, accent, very fiery Puerto Rican, New Rican kind of vibe. She was beautiful. She looked like one of us. She was like fresh out of college. Ain't gonna lie to you. All the young dudes was like, shoot, man, y'all see that new student? Nah, she was a grown-up. She taught us how to network. She was the most influential person in my life, grade 11 and 12. If it weren't for Mrs. Webb, I wouldn't be here. Now I'm telling you 100. She taught me how to shake hands. Not just me, all of us. She taught us how to shake hands. She taught us how to negotiate. We wanted organizations within the school. Cincinnati Public Schools is not friendly to Black folks. She wanted people in her organization. It was Job for Cincinnati grads. And her job was to get kids. It was an after school or before school program. She I need y'all, and I'm going to show y'all how to get what you want. We wanted a frat and a sorority in our high school. They shot us down for years. She got us that, just like that. And we, in turn, went in there and we worked hard and we brought her all kind of accolades and awards. And whenever she took us somewhere to compete, we crushed it. And her biggest thing was she's like, I'm going to show you how the world works. Forget all the racism, BS you done heard. Forget all the victimization and everything. This little bitty Puerto Rican lady, beautiful Puerto Rican lady, I might add. She was married, y'all. But she put us on track to do great things. And all of us kids who were in that program, 90% of us are successful to this day. That's leadership. That's leading from the front, right? And that's local leadership. Yeah, I don't know who Mrs. Webb is. You know what I mean? But she's out there leading from the front. There's coaches out there. Look at Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. Look at what he's doing. Look at what he has done. That's leadership at the local level. We do have leaders out there. Ice-T, Bun B. Yeah, they're hip-hop guys. But if you listen to what they say when people interview them, Bun B has one of the best restaurant hamburger. I guess he has the best hamburger in America right now. I didn't know this.
Houston, yeah.
It's worldwide now, bro. He was in New York or something. I got to get out. Was it a bun burger or whatever it is? I got to get that.
What is it called? Oh shoot, it's called like something like I forgot what it's called.
Man, I got to get one of them burgers. Yeah, and like an Ice T, an OG who went from the streets. Ice T, who was a ranger. I don't know if you know that.
He was a drug dealer. He was a pimp. He went into Rangers.
He was a ranger, bro. He was infantry. He was a ranger. I'm telling you,
he was a ranger.
He was a ranger. You know why he chose the ranger?
Why?
Because it was a black beret. He couldn't wear a red beret because of the gang thing. He was like, I had to go. He couldn't get a green beret because he couldn't be SF because there was another gang who wore green in LA. He went with the black beret. And he joined the United States Army because as a young man, he had his first baby. Trill Burger. There you go. Trill Burger.
That's it.
Ice-T was a ranger, bro. He was like 24th ID, and then he got into some sort of ranger. Man, that was post-Vietnam. But that's the leader. He's out here talking to people. We do have leaders, bro. I just wanted to put that out there.
We do not have leaders. I got a conversation with a white man the other day. He asked me, yeah, but you get your black leaders. And like, we don't have black leaders. He said, what do you mean? He said, but Al Sharpton. I said, Al Sharpton's not a black leader. No black person respects him. He's a joke in the black community. What do you mean? I said, well, he's a known snitch.
He's an FBI informant.
Right, he's an FBI informant. I told him, I said, what are you, a snitch? I said, yeah, he used to inform for the FBI. What? I said, yeah, he had no clue about this, Damien. You know what I'm saying? But I informed him. I told him, I said, he's an informant for the FBI, and black people don't like snitches. No, we don't respect him. You know? Yeah. And we know Jesse Jackson's a charlatan. And here's the thing. It's like this, and times it's the single one, and to people out there who thinks this ideology might extend to my relationships, they don't. My thing is this: I'm not going to hold your hand. I'm going to require you to be an adult. I will give you the instructions to the letter, but I don't like having my time wasted. If I'm volunteering my time to help you with something, please pay attention and please heed my advice. I'm not going to tell you anything wrong. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Let's look it up together. Let's find the answer. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll find the answer for you. Whatever the case may be. I just don't like have my time wasted. Don't do that because now I'm turned off. Now I don't want to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like you ask me, people ask me questions all the time. Like, what do you think of this? Well, here's your answer. No, I don't think so. Okay, cool. I just told you what to do to fix your problem. You're telling me no. If you knew how to fix your problem, why the fuck are you asking me?
Like, you know, there are
you know what I'm saying?
And there go Mandrell between Cody and his chat and Mandrell and his colorful language. I ain't never gonna ever make $1 on this daggone platform.
Monetize CL, monetize
like I said, it doesn't extend in my relationships, but even in relationships, I do require the other person to be an adult. I shouldn't have to tell you to be, how to treat somebody, how to treat me. You know what I mean? I can tell you things I like and whatnot, and it's up to you whether to do any of that or not. But other than that, I'm just trying to enjoy your company. So,
DL, you reminded me of something. Like, because I had the same kind of, but this was like when I was really young. I'm talking about elementary, going into junior high. I had a guy. His name was Denzel McCullough, who used to come to my school and like chop it up, and he kind of sparked my wanting to pay it forward mentality, what have you. Because he exposed us to all kinds of stuff that all we knew was like, R&B and black exploitation movies when because I grew up in the OC projects. And he was playing like jazz music. He had people come in, like he had cats come in from the local college and do like science and experiments for the kids and stuff like that. I met Diane Feinstein because he took us on a trip to the Capitol and we were sitting out in front eating lunch and she invited us in. She saw us and invited us in. I mean, it was just that's what it takes. I think it takes it's like, even if you don't think the method, the stuff that he got into my head, it stays there. You may not be forefront when you're out there. A lot of people out there doing a mess and doing the stuff they into, but it's somewhere in there. And at the time of the appropriate time, it can come out and just spark something to you. Because I realized that's kind of what got me to want to join the organization. I joined to go to high schools and talk to brothers and stuff like that. So you're right. It's that local leadership that can spark something that the person can build on.
And that's my whole point. Oh, go ahead, love. Go ahead. You go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I'm grateful for the best city ever, the city of Chicago, because I actually have had a chance to experience Black men in local leadership. And this is why I always say, people say, oh, you're a little hard on men. But I'm hard on men because I believe that Black men are absolutely the best. And I've seen them operate in excellence. So shout out to people like Marcus Klein. I'll even shout out Jedediah. So many people here, operate in that. And so I've seen it, I've witnessed it. And yeah, so it is happening. It is happening. It's not happening everywhere, perhaps, but it is happening. And more importantly than that, our men are capable of it for sure.
When we talk about these things, right? And like again, like Brother Mandrell is my favorite Green Beret. My favorite, what Jay Swans calls him, his favorite snake eater, right? That's my guy. He's a leader. Got to be a leader. You know what I mean? We're all the military guys, especially. We have no choice but to lead, right? So we know how to do it, and there's different leadership styles. But I will say this: it starts locally. Who are our leaders? You say nobody knows DL Saint. There's one dude out there who knows DL Saint. Y'all know that me and Jay Swans, every year when the FAA begins to gear up for their hire for air traffic controllers, we make videos and we put the videos out. This is the job. This is the career. This is all you need to get in. This is how you apply. We sit down, we do the videos. We just put it out there. We just put it out there, right? And Jay Swans and I would go back and forth like, man, that was a waste of time. Ain't nobody going to do it, whatever. Well, last time we did it, I get a DM from some man. I don't know who he is. Just somebody DM me. Hey, sir. You said sir in the DM. Saw your video about being an air traffic controller. I followed the steps. I got my tentative offer letter. That means he got hired. He's about to go to Oklahoma City and go through the program and become an air traffic controller. I don't know what he's making now, but he's like, you changed my life. He doesn't know me. He doesn't know Jay Swans. Like, I just wanted to thank you.
Good stuff.
That's leadership, bro.
That's
where it starts, man.
And one of the things that I've had to come to grips with since being out here in the civilian world is that if I talk to 1,000 people, I might get 3 of them.
Shit, 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Or like 3 or less. Like, you're not going to get the bulk of the people to listen. You're not going to get the bulk of the people to cooperate, heed your advice, or go on to be successful. You can tell them 2 steps. You can tell them how to become a millionaire in 3 hours. Like 4 of those people are going to try it. 1 is going to be successful because the rest are going to give up along the way. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's that ridiculous. And
yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's that
It's
ridiculous. And I had to come to grips with that, Damien, like, and DL. And I'm the single one. I had to come to grips with that because that was a problem for me. I was like, why are people listening? I don't understand it. Like, why do you want to be in your current situation? And you complain about it. Like, they complain, but here's the thing. The part that really burns me up is that they complain about it. I'm like, okay, but people are giving you the answers to this. Like I tell people all the time, there's never been a time in American history where it's easier to make money. Like with this online thing, and then with the Instagram and the TikTok, like you can make money, like do it. Like I'm an online personal trainer. I'm like, I devote like 4 hours a week to it. Yeah, I'm like, you have any idea how much money that brings in? Like it shocked me. Like, holy shit. Like you can make a really good living off of that.
On the internet. Can you please stop cursing so DL can make money on the internet too?
I was right. When you bring a green beret up, this the PTSD. I'll
just
hey internet, I'm sorry. It's the PTSD. He was thinking about Africa. He didn't know he didn't mean it.
I mean, and we don't
single this like
we may
that.
not know. We may not know right off all the people we've helped. I remember I was watching that show with Ricky Gervais, and they said something that stick with me. Something that was said to him. Gervais. What was that when he died? When he was like when his wife died and he was all depressed and stuff. I forgot. It's on.
It's on Netflix. It is.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking, but I watched that too.
Yeah, and he said, somebody said, society is better when old men plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. And that's what I'm saying. You may never know who you've helped. If I know when I was going to them schools, if there's a dude who filled out his application correctly, had some was able to say something intelligent, had his tie tied right, that got the job that I'd never heard of, I'll be happy. As long as he passes that same thing on to somebody else, then I think then it would have been, it's all worth it.
Yeah, I agree. I had to come to the grip. Like I said, it used to be a problem for me, but I had to come to grips with it. I'm like, so few people. Like, I mean, and I talked to them about Stoic philosophy and things like that. People ain't reading that literature. You know what I'm saying? I do all the time because I find it fascinating and I like the philosophies. I actually employ them in my everyday life. And they're practices, you know what I'm saying, and habits to practice. And it's made me a better person, you know? And because of that, I like who I am. But when I talk to other people about it who need it, they don't. I'm like, why aren't you trying? Why aren't you trying? I don't get that part.
Yeah, you can't worry about that, brother. That's just how it is. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. And I go through this with Jay Swans all the time. Like, bro, I don't even dwell on it. You know what I mean? You just can't worry about that. So we got it set up. Brother Mandrill, we was going to roll right into final thoughts, man. When we were talking about leadership, we were talking about the community. I'm just laughing because I'm just like, how many words are going to come out now? We were talking about education and the lack of emphasis placed on education in America. Because I don't know if you saw, but we showed videos of kids in college who could just answer basic questions, bro. Like they couldn't tell you where the Panama Canal was, bro. That was the question. What country?
It's in the title.
I know. But
I am the single one. This is your fault. You don't want to get married. You don't want to get married and have you don't want to have a child and raise a competent human being. This is your fault. I told you about this. This is why. Well, I'm just saying. We had this conversation, and now she's hearing this stuff. I'm like, do you see now why I said you might want to reconsider? This is the world we're living in now. It's only gonna get worse unless we stop it. But okay, education, the lack of emphasis on it. Well, here's the thing with that. It's far more marketable, and it's easier to control people when they're ignorant. And we've raised and developed a country now where people are comfortable being ignorant. They just want them again. You and I talked about this before, DL. They just want the machine to work. That's it. As long as they can go to work, make enough money to live off of, and have a few recreational things to do, they're fine. They're perfectly fine with that. They don't want to do anymore. Most people, you know. So a healthy, educated, and confident nation is harder to govern. And I guess, you know, and I know for a fact that there's an element in our government who don't want us to be healthy, educated, and confident, because they're afraid that those people will be out of control. And they're right. The BS wouldn't fly. Like we Green Berets would talk about politics all the time and how we would run things, and we're just like, I came to the conclusion, I said, you know what? You take one of us who has not been corrupted by politics, put him as president, people would hate life. I'm talking about other politicians included. Everyone in Washington would hate life because the BS would not fly. You would have to do the right thing now. You know what I'm saying? Like
they'll try to get you in a motorcade in Dallas.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You gotta go. We would have to go. Wait, you making us fix problems? Yeah. But okay, so there's that. The education. It's easy to control people when they're ignorant. This whole thing with black people and white people, when we hated each other at one point in time. The right hand had no idea what the left hand was doing, but we were incentivized to live apart from one another because white people's property value would go down. The black people move into the neighborhood. We're incentivized to stay away from each other and segregate ourselves, even though we're in an integrated society. We gave the black people integration, but we still segregated ourselves. So what changed? Nothing. The right hand still don't know what the left hand doing. So it's easy to tell one side or the other whatever you want and make them do what you want. They're not going to come together and talk. So anyway, that's the education part. Now, what's another thing about leadership?
Yeah, just leadership. Yeah.
Yeah, leaders out there, I'm the type of leader. I'm a lead from the front type person. I'm gonna do things, and if I see someone who's interested or has potential, I'll reach out to those people, and say, "Hey, are you interested in learning this, that, and the other?" They say yes. Okay, I'll go over it now. Teach them everything I know and how to do it. They have questions. Come back and go. I don't care how many times you have to repeat that question. Ask me a million times if you have to. I want to make sure you get it so you can go out and be successful. Other people, they're just gonna follow. If they see me doing it, they want to follow. Cool. But I'm gonna keep moving forward. You know what I'm saying? You want to follow? Follow. I'll bring you along with me. But you got to do the work on your own. You got to be an adult. I'll try to make sure you're on the right path. But good Lord,
Man,
help me help you.
And tell everybody where they can find you, bro. I know you got
you can find me on my YouTube channel. I got it's called The Big Picture. Right now I'm doing a series on health and nutrition. I'm getting rid of a lot of the white noises out there. I'm streamlining the information so you can listen. You can eat this way or that way. Here's some options of ways to eat. Okay, pick one and go. Exercise, you know what I mean? And I'm going to be doing some instructionals here pretty soon. I'm also doing my own body transformation series where I gained 50 pounds on purpose. You get to see every workout and exercise that I do to lose the weight. Like, for example, my workout on Sundays, that's episode 1. Workout on Tuesday, episode 2, and so on and so on. You get to see every exercise that I do to lose weight. So the goal here is not to look pretty, beach body, but it's to lose weight, because that's what everyone wants to do. Lose weight and get healthy. Okay, here, let me show you how to do that. The aesthetic part, that comes afterwards. That's building muscle. That just takes time and consistency. So
that's what's up. And do me a favor, be sure to drop your link in the chat, bro, so they can just click on that and go right to your web, your YouTube channel. Please like and subscribe over there, people. We got to support each other. So if you haven't already done it, please do it. Looks like Cody already dropped. Appreciate that, brother. And that's Cody.
Appreciate it, Cody. There you go. So, my man. I'm gonna have Cody as king on my show in a few weeks. I got to get with him and lock a time down. But Damien, you don't want to miss that one. Listen, you don't.
None of us gonna miss that one.
You should check out my channel. Also, I'm an online personal trainer. You can go to my Instagram page, Medriel_21. I have a Calendly link right there on the profile. Click it, book an appointment. All appointment. The first one is free. It's an hour consult for free.
That's a great value, guys.
Right. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy anything. You can just talk to me. I can counsel you. See if I'm good. My program or me as a personal trainer is good for you. That's what it's about. You may not like me. Okay. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to buy anything. But it comes on an app, a phone app. My workout programs and the nutrition plan as well. Comes on a phone app. So it's not something janky. It's not a PDF, unless you want one. I can make that too. But it comes on a phone app right there in the palm of your hand. And your nutrition plan, everything is custom to you. Your workout routines and your meal plan is customized to you. It's not a one-size-fits-all.
The first one's free. That's an hour consult. Y'all really need to jump on that. This brother knows what he's talking about, man. It's a Green Beret. And while y'all talking to him, at least take 15 minutes to ask him about weapons and tactics. Yo, that's brother Mandrell. Thank you so much, bro.
I can talk about that when I was a Bravo. I can talk about that 3 years straight.
3 years straight.
I can tell you about weapons, man. I can.
And a Bravo means he was a weapons sergeant. So that is the guy to talk to. Thank you so much for coming through, bro. I truly appreciate you, man. You know what
Thanks
it
for
is.
having me.
Hey, and real quick before y'all go, y'all gonna be on Black Man Unfiltered this week?
Yeah. And one of these YouTubers did pull the same week move. I've been calling people out. They had that chick on this. He's like, you're not a leader.
Right. Dating time, please. Gotta learn how to
dating time. Date Wednesday nights on the Black Men Unfiltered Network right here on YouTube at 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. My sister and I do a show called Unapologetic with Mandrell and Shushu. We talk about various topics and we give out interesting information, useful information, and good content. We're not sitting up there complaining about women, talking about relationships and dating and all that nonsense.
So that's what, hey, what you mean nonsense? That's what it is. We're going to get you over here, bro. We're going to get you over here. Before I'm done with you, Mandrell.
I'm just saying, people
together we can rule the galaxy.
I'm just saying, people haven't figured that out yet, though, DL. And that's the thing that gets me. I'm like, y'all ain't figured this out yet?
Hey man, like I said, don't knock the game, man. But that's it, yo. This is Brother Mandrill. Thanks for popping in, bro. Let me give you one more hand on the wrong one. These buttons, man. I gotta do something about that. Here we go. Thank you, bro. I really appreciate you. We're gonna drop you down, man. We'll see you in a second, man. I am the final one. Your final thoughts, love. And thank you so much for coming up. And before you get into your final thoughts, could you please tell me what's going on in the real estate market in Chicago just real quick and then roll into your final thoughts?
Um, here in Chicago, the real estate market, the residential real estate market has quieted down for the fall. It's pretty typical, especially for single family home sales for the fall to get more quiet because school has started, etc. Things usually kick up in our market immediately after January 1st. People say Super Bowl, but the really, really smart people, especially investors, are ready for that January 1st turn of the year to jump back in and find something good.
Thank you, love. I appreciate that. And I'm you know, I'm gonna ask you about commercial. That's not your thing.
Yeah.
I meant residential. And when you finish up your final thoughts, please let people know where they can find you. And if they want to buy something in the Chicago area, how they can get a hold of you. Because if y'all got some money to spend, you need to go ahead and invest it with this sister right here.
Thank you. You can find me here on YouTube. My channel is On a Spot Live. My hashtag on all social media platforms is hashtag On a Spot. I do practice real estate in real life here on the internet. I'm here to educate and empower people to purchase their first ever property. So that's what I'm here to do. You don't have to bring me money. My clients do that, which is great. Also, my second channel is I Am the Single One. If you're interested in dating and relationship topics, we have lots of fun over there. DL and Damien, congrats on a great show. I love the DL Damien combination. I just want to say that before I go.
And we still need your final thoughts, love. We appreciate all that, but we still need your final thoughts on
My
what we're
final
talking
thought
about.
on leadership is do it. We need you. We need you. Do men need to hear that? I'm saying it. We need you. And also, you know, you can do it. There are other men, maybe not in your area, who are doing great things. Connect with those gentlemen. A lot of times they're very open. And also to Damien's point, if you have things in your background that make you feel a little apprehensive about stepping into that light or that kind of role, just know that for many people that might be endearing, that might make you more relatable to a certain group of people or part of the people that you're looking to lead or inspire. So don't let that stop you. I believe in you and we all need you. So leadership, leadership, leadership.
That's what's up, love. I appreciate you so much. And whenever you need me to come over to your platform, I'm there, whether you ask or not. If you're still doing your early shows, like I'll jump over there and hop on with you if you need someone to jump in and brighten up people's days. I'm down.
Same here. I'm your boy.
Yes. Please,
Thanks,
we got
guys.
you.
Love you guys.
The thorough old. You said, what is it? We need to change. Ask your uncles. The thorough OGs.
Hilarious. Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming up. I look forward to working with you in the future. We're going to get you on here when we're going to talk real estate. I would love to have you and just have a show when you just school your old unk on real estate and how it really works and how to do it. And, what's a HELOC and why is the prime real estate, why is the prime, the percentage rates are going up? Like what's, all that, the APR and all that kind of stuff. So one of these days we got to make that work, girl.
Anytime.
All right. We'll talk to you later. Thank you so much. And brother Damon, that just brings us down to me and you, fam. And
yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And I'll get you set up on the camera, man, so you can have your final thoughts, without having to look at my ugly beige face. And
I don't want to look at myself by myself because I feel weird talking to myself. So
nope,
stay up.
Make you do
don't go.
all
right, it's all good.
Yeah,
it's
so
all good.
Let's hear, bro.
I mean, this was a great topic. I mean, it's a topic that's that's a super timely considering the climate that we're in right now. I've read a couple of things and studied a couple of things about leadership. And I think if you are truly looking to elevate from your station or learn some new things or move on or progress, you have to be open to be led. You absolutely have to have that mind state like, okay, I can learn something from somebody else who may have the experience that I and have achieved the position where I'm striving to go, but don't think somebody is a leader in organically, like just because they're born a certain way or they're born into a certain situation that they are automatically fit to lead. When you're looking to evaluate somebody to lead, keep this in mind. A good leader will help you, a good leader will help you envision and follow their lead. They'll help you get on their plan. They'll show you what their plan is. They'll show you their success. But a great leader will help you develop your own success by developing your own method, road, or path to success. And I think a lot of people get caught up on that. They see somebody's success and say, I want to be like you, when their stuff a lot of times will be only focused on themselves. And they'll be like, this is what I did to get there. They need to evaluate you where you are. And then they need to say, okay, here's the tools I'm gonna get you. So when you can take what you've learned and develop your own plans of success. That's the difference between a good and great leader. So take your time. Don't just follow anybody because they may be in a position that you think you want to be, but you may not want to go the route that they took to get there. So you need to be successful. It needs to be directly reflection of who you are, where you are, and your drive to be successful. And that's it.
Man, that's what's up, bro. I appreciate that, man. I truly appreciate you, man. That's for coming through, rocking out with a brother.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop you down real quick, and I'm gonna give my final thoughts. So we're gonna close this out, man. So I'll talk to you in a hot second. Don't go away, man. I'll hot you in a second.
Okay, cool.
So, first of all, it was a great show. This was a great show. One of my favorite shows. Shout out to Brother Damon for coming through. I am the single one. Mandrill, you know what I mean? Shout out to Casual Germ. Cody is king. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We had Level Up in the building. All my Joes, you know what I mean, who came through and is rocking out. I know there's other stuff going on, but y'all came through and showed love. Everybody's jumping in, hitting a like, and then going to do what they got to do. I appreciate you. For those people who wonder why I do what I do, man, like, why am I out here doing this? I'm on YouTube. We're posting all this stuff. I'm out here, you know, starting other groups, and we're doing all this stuff. I do it for that one. That one. That brother who hit me up. That man that I don't know. I have no idea what his name is. Wherever he is, hit me up on Instagram. They said, thank you, sir. Your video helped me level all the way up. That man's going to be making $150,000 to $200,000 a year. All he has to do is get through the next stage of his training, and he's motivated, and I know he's going to do it. I do it for that one kid that's out there. And I can just show him, like, hey, man, I'm in my 50s. I'm in my young 50s. I'm retired. I was an air traffic controller, right? I was a paratrooper in the United States Army. I got all these medals and stuff like that. I served with distinction. And I started where you are right now. It could be done. I do it for the one. That's it. And there's people out there who maybe heard something I said and that kept them from doing something terrible to themselves. They just stumbled onto the platform and heard what they needed to hear, and they got themselves together and they were able to push forward. They ain't got to thank me. They ain't got to thank me at all. But those dudes who come up to me that I ain't never met before and buy me a drink, I just want to give you this drink because you just said the right words at the right time, and I was going to do something to myself, and I didn't. Right? And I see that with Myron and Fresh on Fresh and Fit. Hate them all you want, but I see the lines and lines of men coming up, thanking them, bringing the bullet they were going to use. You know what I mean? I see it, bro. We do it for the one. And I encourage each and every one of you out there right now, take on that leadership role, lead from the front. And most importantly, man, do it for the one. That's what we got to do. You know what I mean? And stay away from Marines. We got Casual Germ out there, boy. The Marines that get you hurt, bro. You better, if you see a Marine, you better start praying. You see a Marine out there coming, man, just start praying like this.
Pray! This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
If you start praying like that, then they'll sit down and talk to you, bro, because that's all they understand, man. So thank y'all so much for rocking out with me, man. I'm DL Saint. This is the I Really Want to Know podcast. And, hey, we'll be back tomorrow. Our normal time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not quite sure what we're going to be talking about. We'll probably be talking about what's going on in the Middle East. We might be talking about that. It's time to do another episode because things are getting crazy over there, right? So I'll see y'all then. Be looking for the DL shorts. Don't be afraid, man. Hit me up, comment, like, dislike, do whatever you got to do. Share some of this stuff with your friends. Let's continue to build this up. We're over 1,600 subscribers, y'all. We growing because of y'all. So that's it, man. This was a blast. I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.